Hi, on this week's How Do I Make That? I'm making seed bread. This could be keto, plant-based keto, low glycemic, high fiber, omega-3 rich bread, whatever you want to call it. But it's made with nuts and seeds and a little bit of salt. And so the first nut I'm using is walnuts. This is 2 cups of walnuts that I have been soaking. Here you can see the water even is kind of dirty. So I soak nuts and seeds to eliminate things like phytates, things that prevent me from absorbing all the nutrients from these foods. And so not only is the water kind of dirty, it's full of things that are going to keep me from absorbing them. Think about like watermelons that pop up in people's yards sometimes at the end of summer after someone has spit watermelon seeds out. Seeds are made to pass through the body to create another plant. They're not made to be broken down unless they're chewed very well or soaked. Sometimes they even have to be kind of scuffed up. So here on the farm, we have to do different techniques to get seeds to really plant. Sometimes they have to be fermented, but a whole nother story. Anyway, we wanted to soak our seeds. It also makes them soft enough to blend into a bread. So I have my walnuts here. I also have a 1/2 cup of flax seeds, also soaking. I have a 1/2 cup of sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds here, soaking. And then I have chia seeds. And so chia seeds are also very high in omega-3s. Walnut seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, very high in omega-3 fatty acids, which are very anti-inflammatory. And they're just a great thing that we need in our diet, high in fiber, high in vitamin E, and something that most Americans are missing in their diet. We should eat about a ratio of 1-to-1 omega-3s to omega-6s, but when we eat fried foods, foods used with canola oil and sunflower oil and things like that, which we do have sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds in here, those are a little more inflammatory. We need to balance them out with those omega-3s. So I want a 1/4 cup of chia seeds, and they don't need to soak as long as the other ones. And so I'm going to add them to 1.5 cups of water. That's all the water I need in this recipe. So this recipe is in my new ebook, which is a low glycemic, gluten-free, healthy for the holidays ebook. So check it out. My link is in my bio. But I just added the chia seeds here. I'm going to stir them into the water. And we're all on our own health journey. There's a different reason why we are looking for recipes like this. We're all unique. For some of us, we just are following keto because that's what our friends are following and they lost weight using keto. For some of us, we eat whole food plant-based. We're looking for more breads that are whole food plant-based, not made from flours. For some of us, we're looking for anti-inflammatory foods, and we know omega-3 rich fatty acids and high fiber is going to help with that. So it just depends on you and your health journey. The next ingredient I have is tahini. And if you don't want to use tahini, I thought I had my sunflower seeds out. You could use sunflower seeds and soak them, not sunflower, sesame seeds, and soak them just like we did the flax seeds. Just soak them, and then you'll be grinding them into the flour. Same thing. So tahini is made from ground sesame seeds. It's just a little bit easier way to use it. And then our last ingredient I'm using, this is psyllium husk powder. You could also use psyllium husk seeds. If you use the seeds, you want a 1/4 cup. If you have the powder, you only want 2 tablespoons. And then my very last ingredient is salt. If you are on a salt-free SOS diet, leave out the salt. Otherwise, I do like salt, so a 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon is what I like to use. And I have a glass baking dish with parchment paper in here. So like I said, we're all unique. We're all on our own health journey. If you are not concerned about baking seeds, or you're in a hurry, or you just eat keto, you don't care about that stuff, you're just looking for another bread, you can throw it in this pan, bake it at 350. But if you are concerned about the inflammatory aspects of heating the oils that are in these nuts and seeds, then you put them in here and you stick it in the dehydrator for 12 hours, slice it, and then stick it back in the dehydrator. The choice is yours. Either way works. So I'm using a food processor today, and what I'm going to do first is step aside and rinse and drain all of my nuts and seeds, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is put my flax seeds in my pan here, and I wanted you to see this. First of all, let me show you the chia seeds. I did not drain the chia seeds. I need that liquid in my recipe. So here I want you to see the flax seeds. So flax seeds, remember I said they're mucilaginous or gelatinous. You can see the water doesn't even come through. They hold all of that water. So they're very hydrating. They're also a wonderful egg substitute. And so when we make things like a plant-based keto bread, and we don't want to put an egg in it, or we're eating whole food plant-based, or maybe we're allergic to eggs, flax makes a wonderful egg substitute. So I'm going to put them in first because I want to grind them up. Flax has a very, very hard shell that is just really difficult for our bodies to break down. And so I want to break them up in the food processor. I could have started with ground flax seeds. If you do buy ground flax seeds, then store them in the fridge or the freezer because they do go rancid very quickly. Okay, so here are my flax seeds. I'm going to grind them up a little bit. Move these out of the way. Okay, so now I'm going to add my remaining ingredients. So once again, no salt, half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of salt. The choice is yours. The half a cup of sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. And the 2 cups of walnuts. And I don't have to grind them. I'm not grinding them into a flour because I like the way it looks when you see the nuts and seeds in the bread. Okay, and now I'm going to add in my chia water. See, the chia seeds kind of plumped up. Now I put so much water in there that they're not going to hold together like the flax seeds, but if I hadn't put that much water, usually it's 1 tablespoon of chia seeds to 3 tablespoons of water. That's usually the ratio, 1 to 3. Some people use 1 to 2.5. It's really doesn't matter, especially if you're going to be dehydrating. All that liquid is just going to come right off anyway. And then my last ingredient is psyllium seed, which is a wonderful prebiotic. Helps to feed, all of these are, but psyllium seed is used quite oftenly. It's actually used in like Metamucil. So I'm going to put in, remember mine's the powder, so I'm putting in 2 tablespoons. It's going to help soak up some of that liquid and also work as a binder. It's usually used as a binder in like liver detoxes and things like that. And I forgot my tahini. And so I need about 1/4 cup of tahini. I am really low, but this looks like about 1/4 cup in here. So the good thing about my recipes is you don't have to be exact even when you're baking. And so I'm going to just scrape this out. Tahini will be great on this bread when you pull it out. You can have avocado toast or hummus. Maybe put some hummus and some pickled radishes and some sprouts. That would be beautiful and delicious. There's a restaurant back home that I like to go to that does that, and it's just one of my favorite dishes. Okay, of course there's some gluten-free bread, which is not low glycemic. Okay, so I'm just going to blend this well. Make sure it's all combined. And once again, I don't want it completely chopped up. I want to be able to see the nuts and seeds in the bread. So I'm going to pull it off of here and pour it into my pan. And I prefer more raw foods than cooked. I also prefer, anytime I have nuts and seeds, I prefer them in the dehydrator. Less than 118 degrees. So my dehydrator is set at 115 degrees. If you don't have a dehydrator, some people will put theirs in the oven with the pilot light on. I don't have gas either. I'm out in the country. I do not have a gas line. And so I do have a dehydrator. If I did not have a dehydrator and I had an oven, like I do have, I would set mine at its lowest setting, which is usually 170, and then crack the door. I would cook it with the door ajar to keep it from getting too hot. Now, in the dehydrator, I'm going to put this in for 12 hours, and then I'm going to slice it, and then I'm going to put the slices in the dehydrator, just to make sure that it is dry all the way through. I don't want any gooiness on the inside. Now, the timing is going to depend on you and your environment, what time of year it is, what's the humidity like, is your temperature in your house hot or cold? All of that is going to play into how long it takes. So it's really playing it by ear, getting used to what your foods feel like. So I'm just going to go stick this in the dehydrator, and then when I pull it out to slice it, I'll show you. Okay, I wanted you to see the bread so far. You can see it's nice and dry. The edges are even dry as well. And I think I could probably take it out and slice it. It's only been 6 hours though, and so it's probably a little too soft on the inside before I slice it. Okay, my lighting's not as good this morning. I showed you what the bread looked like in the dehydrator, and before I went to bed, I dumped it out of the baking pan so that it would get dry on all sides. And the cool thing about it is the gravity made it really look like loaf bread. So I can feel it still feels really soft on the inside, and so I'm going to carefully cut it into slices and lay it on these trays so that there's airflow, and put it back in the dehydrator. And so yesterday I said do about 12 hours. It ended up being more like 18 hours. I did probably 8 hours, dumped it out of the pan, and then left it overnight. And so here is a slice. It is a little moist on the inside, but I'm just going to stick it back in the dehydrator so that it gets dry on the top, and then it'll be perfect. Okay, you can see it's really difficult to slice this part, so I cut the ends off. They will be ready sooner. I'm going to put this back in the dehydrator and let it firm up a little bit more before I keep slicing. As you can see, it's still really soft on the inside. Anyway, I'll show you when I pull them all out. Okay, so here is our bread. You can see I made some avocado toast with mine, but here is another slice. See, looks like a perfect piece of bread. It is a little dry on the outside, still pretty soft. What I will do is, whatever I don't eat today, I will freeze individually like this and stick them in a freezer bag, and then just warm them up in the dehydrator in the morning. So if I want avocado toast, I will just grab one, stick it in the dehydrator when I wake up in the morning, and then that way it is nice and warm when I'm ready to eat it. And then that way it doesn't get too dried out either. I don't want to put it in a toaster. I don't want to heat it too high. I just want it nice and warm. Some people keep it in the refrigerator for 3 days. I prefer to keep it in the freezer. It's just completely up to you. Anyway, I hope that you make this bread recipe. And don't forget about my holiday ebook. You can find the link in my bio. If you make this recipe, please let me know. If you like this video, let me know. Subscribe to my channel, share with your friends. You know I love to hear from you. Happy holidays, and enjoy your grain-free bread.